Sylvia shouted and ran from the house. "Help! Help!" she cried. No one was there. She ran as fast as she could, but the creature was quicker than she was. Hello everyone and welcome to today's English reading practice. It's Tuesday, August the 29th, 2023, and I'm thrilled to have you all here with me for this session. We'll be finishing this fascinating story by Olly Richards called A Very Unusual Excursion. My name is Niver Vargas, and today we'll be exploring the last chapter, Chapter 3, The Surprise. Esta es una nueva manera de lernen, aprender, aprendere,
languages, enquanto desfruta,
accents,
alphabet,
culturen,
sonidos, regole gramaticali.
quickly and easily. Alors,
Bruit travail.
et bienvenue à Lingusta. Chapter 3, The Surprise. Sylvia could not believe it. "There are lights on in the house," she cried. She followed the path down to the lake. She went over to the house. It was late afternoon, but she definitely saw orange lights inside. She walked around the outside of the house. She wanted a view of who was inside. It must be George. "Hello?" she shouted. "It's Sylvia." No one answered. Suddenly, a noise came from within the house. "Okay, George," thought Sylvia. "This isn't funny anymore." Sylvia went to the door and opened it. She was totally unprepared for what she saw. Everyone she knew was there. There were so many people inside the house. Her mother was there, other family members, even her friends Claudia and Veronica. "Sylvia!" her mother shouted. "I'm so glad you're here." "Hello," Sylvia said cautiously. "What's going on?" "Well," said her mother. "Sit down, let me explain." Sylvia sat down on the old bed. "What's happening?" she finally said. Everyone around her looked worried. No one said anything. "Where's Dad?" she asked her mother. "He's at work. He's coming soon," her mother answered. Sylvia looked around the room. "Can someone please tell me what's going on?" she asked. Sylvia's mother stood up and started to talk. "We think George is missing. We believe a creature took him." "What? How do you know that we saw a creature?" "George sent us a message. He said he needed help. Then his mobile went dead. We're here to look for George." "Now?" Sylvia asked with surprise. "Yes, now." Everyone picked up their backpacks. They turned on their torches. They were ready to go and look for George. They left the house and formed groups. Sylvia stopped for a moment at the door. She stood there for a while. "I just don't understand," she thought. "George wouldn't go off alone. He wouldn't want to scare me. And why would he send a message to Mom? Why not me? And why are all my friends here? Not his." She shook her head. Something just doesn't add up. After a moment, Sylvia looked around. She couldn't see the groups. She couldn't see anyone. "Where are you?" she called. "Hello? Can anyone hear me?" Sylvia walked towards the woods. Maybe they're all there, she thought. As she walked, she took a torch from her backpack. She turned it on. It was getting dark again. "Where are you all? Is anyone there?" she shouted. No one answered. I don't understand, she thought. She looked around the dark woods. Suddenly, she turned around. It was better to wait in the old house than to walk in the woods in the dark. Sylvia went back to the house and sat on the old bed again. She waited for a few minutes. No one came. Suddenly, Sylvia heard a noise coming from the kitchen. She got off the bed. She walked slowly towards the kitchen. She tried not to make any noise. She wanted to see what was going on. Maybe it was her friends? Her mother? She turned on the torch. Then she saw it. The critter. It was very ugly, and it was coming towards her. Sylvia shouted and ran from the house. Help! Help! She cried. No one was there. She ran as fast as she could, but the creature was quicker than she was. It was soon right behind her. Sylvia turned to see it. She fell to the ground in a panic. She was really scared, so she started kicking. The creature had her legs. She couldn't get away. Sylvia kept fighting, but suddenly the creature stopped and got up. It reached down. It wanted to help Sylvia stand up. What is going on here? Thought Sylvia. Suddenly, Sylvia saw movement around her. All of her friends and family came out of the woods. They had their torches on, but they had something else in their hands too, candles. And they were singing something. It was a song she knew well. At that moment, Sylvia understood everything. The creature took off its costume. It was her father. Happy birthday, Sylvia, he said. Then he joined in the singing. Happy birthday to you. Everybody sang around her. Sylvia didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Dad, were you the creature? Sylvia asked in surprise. Was it you this whole time? Yes, my love. It was me all along. I had a great time playing the role. He laughed. Then he continued. We planned the party for yesterday, but then there was a development at your mother's office, so we had to move the party to today. George came up with a great idea. He suggested we play a trick on you. He did it to get you to the cabin for 2 days. Really? Yes, that was some trick, said Sylvia as she looked around. And where is George? George came out from behind a tree. He was completely clean and completely safe. I'm sorry, Sylvia, said George. We played a pretty bad trick on you, but we wanted it to be a birthday to remember. You are getting a really great present. Sylvia's father handed her a birthday card. For that trick, it must definitely be a great gift, said Sylvia, laughing. She opened the card. In it, there were several papers. What is this? She asked and looked around. Sylvia's friends and family picked her up. They carried her to the front of the house. We bought you this old house, honey. The house is your birthday present, said her mother. Sylvia's father joined them. We're going to renovate it together, he added. It's going to be your summer house. Sylvia started to laugh. Then she started to cry with relief. George was safe, she was safe, and this crazy old cabin was hers. Finally, Sylvia was able to speak again. Well, she began, I want to thank you all for the birthday surprise. And Mom, Dad, I can't believe that this house is mine. Thank you. Then she looked at her father and George. Dad, that was quite a performance. I just want to give the creator one important piece of advice. He is not welcome as a visitor anymore. The group laughed and then sang some more. Then they went into the cabin. It was time for coffee and cake. It was also time for a long rest for the birthday girl. And that's it. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. What do you think of my reading? What do you think of the story? Feel free to share your feedback. Bye for now. C'est fini. Merci.
Gracias.
Danke.
Shukran.
谢谢.
Evharisto.
And thanks for watching and listening to Lingosta.